Hi, welcome to the Carol Register Show. I have Don Green, Mr. Don Green, to you, thank you, and to me, because it is an honor to be here with the gentleman who oversees the foundation for Napoleon Hill and for his works. And Mr. Green, thank you for being here. It is truly an honor with the work you do, transforming lives, helping students to attend school. You've been at this for quite a while, and I know you had a background in finance, banking, real estate. When and how did you become the executive director of the Napoleon Hill Foundation?
Okay, well, sometimes your ship don't come in, okay? If your ship don't come in, swim out where it is. I
Mhm.
was working as a bank president, and I had read the books and read the books, and I wrote them a letter and told them what I was doing. And W. Clement Stone, I got a letter. They would like to have lunch with me. So I flew to Chicago. We had dinner at the airport. And he told me, he said, I swear, you know more about these books than I do. He said, you ought to be a board member. So
Mhm.
it came around, I was a board member, and we had the opportunity to sell the bank. I'd been there 18 years. Some of the old trustees were living out of state, wanted their money. And at the same time, the trustee, the only one they'd had to run the foundation, Mike Ritt, he got physically disabled and couldn't do it. And they asked me, and I said, okay, but not in Chicago. I would have to move the foundation. And by the way, we're located in Wise, Virginia, and this is where Napoleon Hill was born and raised. So
Wow.
it only seemed proper that this is where we're located. Our offices are on the campus of the University of Virginia in Wise. I started teaching a course called Keys to Success as a night course, give all the money back to them in
Yeah.
1998. And the course is still taught today. It's a required course for people majoring in business. So they think very highly of the course. I don't teach it no more, but I taught it 11 years. But it's been taught consecutive for 28 years.
And that's with the University of Virginia, correct?
Yes.
At Wise. Thank you so much for that. You had actually started this bank and then sold it in this journey to becoming the executive director of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. With your background in finance and in understanding investments and numbers, how did you bring that to increasing and growing the Napoleon Hill Foundation?
Well, I guess I like people, but there's only two ways to make money, and that is to give something that people either need or they want.
Yeah.
And, the book had sold 100 million copies. They had 16 books when I started, or Napoleon Hill Foundation did, in the year 2000. Today we got about 170 books.
Wow.
Uh, and they only dealt in the United States except for in English, except they had one Japanese customer. Today we today we have over 500 foreign publishers. We
Wow.
have we have 43 different publishers in Russia alone. So our books are very, very popular.
Wow. And when it comes to what you're doing with the foundation, it's so interesting to me because I'm neuroscience based, and Napoleon Hill was speaking about the mind long before, we were really speaking about things in terms of neuroscience. He also wrote a book, Outwitting the Devil, that has been recommended many, many times. And what do you see? Are these companion books, would you say?
Well, Outwitting the Devil is next to Think and Grow Rich. I had the manuscript. Outwitting the Devil was written in 1938, and the trustees didn't want to publish it because Napoleon's wife and our chairman's mother, who was Charlie Johnson, he was Napoleon's nephew. Napoleon paid him to go to school. He became a cardiologist. But I read it and I kept telling them. And finally, one day I told Charlie, Charlie, you said the women didn't want to publish the book. Both of them are dead. And he said,
Mm,
you want to publish a book? I said, Charlie, we're always making money for the kids.
mm,
Okay, you're going to publish it anyway. No, no, you got to tell me yes. He said, publish it. After we published it, he hit the bestseller list. One day he called and said he is speaking to a group of 50 cardiologists. Could we ship him 50 of that book to give out? I thought to myself, that's a long way. For yours, you didn't want it published, and now you want me to give you books.
mm.
But uh, last time I looked, I think it's in 73 different languages. So it's done quite.
It's done amazingly well. It's been recommended in several of the events that I've attended. It's on the top selling, the top recommendation list is Think and Grow Rich and Outwitting the Devil. And I think that the points that are in these books are so powerful for transforming lives. And with the keys to success and the course that you require for the students, what would you highlight for us to start to apply to our lives today?
Well, the keys to success, it's a good refresher course for people who's read Think and Grow Rich, or if they've not. It covers all the principles.
Mm,
And you mentioned a while ago the mind, I thought was interesting. I'm working on a little book. He called the mind the greatest miracle of all,
mm,
and and no doubt it is. So it's just amazing to see the material. See, I don't, yeah, here it is. Uh, I've written a lot of books, uh, and my daughter, my only child, has a piece of property in Hilton Head, uh, which is a resort area and an expensive place. We were going down there one weekend and she was driving. This has not been long back. And we were going up the mountain, Interstate 81. It goes from North Carolina, Tennessee into North Carolina at the in those beautiful mountains. And we was driving up the mountain and I looked over and I saw this big old brick church and it had a wall in front of the church. You could read it from the interstate.
wow.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. Job verse in the Bible. I said, Donna, you see that? Yeah. I said, I'm gonna write a book about that. About what? Vision. So we was down there a few days and I got back. I called a publisher and I told him the little what happened and that I would like to write a book on vision. And they said, we'll publish it. So I took about 2 weeks of a night after I got home and I wrote this little book. It's called A Millionaire Vision.
Wow.
And it's done real well because what I'm trying to tell you is you need to see where you want to be rather than where you are. It's a vision and looking forward. See, people in poverty, what do they vision? They vision more poverty. What
Mhm.
do they get? They get more poverty.
Yeah.
They turn their mind towards what they would like to be, what they like to accomplish. And that's what I'm trying to tell you in that book, A Millionaire Vision. Because
Millionaire Vision. Wow. What a powerful, book that can help us to remember to be looking forward and not staying in the state that we're in. If we are in poverty or we're in a state that we no longer desire, This is something that I speak into all of the time, that we get to create our reality. We are co-creators, and we get to write our story by the choice of the way we think. Um, and I especially appreciate that you've written many, many, many books, excuse me for a rough voice, but many, many books. And it's something that is so powerful, along with Millionaire Vision. What other book is a top seller that you've written that you want to highlight right now for us?
Well, I mentioned the book. You mentioned the book 3 Feet from Gold. That's a story in Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And Greg Reed, we were talking, and we he wanted to do a book, and we started, and we got about. I was busy. I think we had 80 pages. Sharon would know, and Sharon had been lecturer had been on to me, and I said, Sharon, why don't we finish this book? And so they finished the book together, and it hit the bestseller list the first week, and
Wow.
it's simply it's it's to help you rid of procrastination. People quit too soon. They don't know how close they are to succeeding,
Yeah.
and it was accepted real well. Here's a little book there we published. Uh, it's just recently. It's called A Six Ghosts of Fears. This is
Wow.
it's taken from thinking. It's taken from uh, think
Outwitting the Devil, or
well that Think and Grow Rich.
mm,
The verse out of that what the devil said, the devil fears nothing but a thinker who controls his own mind.
mm,
Um, and it's to help you end self-sabotage and take control of your destiny.
wow.
But they're poverty, criticism, ill health, uh, loss of love, fear of old age, and death.
Amazing. Those ghosts that keep us in the state of fear. And it's interesting that the title of the book is Ghost, right? Focused on the spiritual, on our energy. And I know as well you have another very popular book that you've written is Napoleon Hill's 90 Days to a Positive Mental Attitude, transforming your outlook, transform your outlook, transform your life. Um, and your secret book, Napoleon Hill's Secret, and these um, books that you have written that really help us to understand and lean deeply into these principles that Napoleon Hill highlighted in Think and Grow Rich. And on the fear side, Outwitting the Devil. That's where I see them as beautiful companion books with the principles to change our mindset and move forward, and to address what comes in that limits us from doing that as well. Uh, when we're talking about a positive mental attitude, what inspired you to take this principle and highlight it for us?
Well, it's so important, and it's actually a work study. It gives you sets of things you can go through with. Now, when we read, and I read a lot, I've read thousands and thousands of books.
Yeah.
I read 3 or 4 books a week, most all the time. Lots of nights I read a whole book because I lived alone for 11 years and my wife passed away.
I'm so sorry.
I don't watch television. I owned a cable company for almost 20 years, but I really don't watch television. But anyway, the difference is we read, and there's nothing wrong with them. There's a lot of good writers. They write these stories, and you have to read them to the end, like David Baldassi and John Grisham, where they're mysteries or love stories. You have to read right to the end to know what happened. Did the boy get the girl? Did the uncle die and leave him all his money, or what happened? On the last few pages. But this material we got and we study it, we can write our own book. We can write our own life by sitting down and planning it. And you said Napoleon Hill's secret. The secret is one word. It's action. You can think all you wanna, but you got to do something other. You can your husband can tell you he would like to have a chocolate cake, and you can give him a list, flour, all these different ingredients. He can go to the store and get them and set them on the table. But
Yeah,
if you mix them and put them in the oven, nothing's going to happen. And
right.
it might not turn out right the first time. But who said you got to quit? Maybe the oven wasn't hot enough. Maybe it was too hot. But you eventually perfect it if you take action and you persist. And persist is so important. It's so important to not to give up. So many people they'll try something. Well, I know I should have known better, or my spouse said it wouldn't work, and you just quit, and then you try something else, and then you try something else, and you never succeed at anything of importance.
Yeah. Wow. It's such a great story highlighting. I want a chocolate cake, the vision coming in, and you go in it and you attempt to create the chocolate cake, and maybe you don't just hand somebody the ingredients, you go to work and take the action, and maybe you don't get it right. And so you try it again because the oven may not be right, or something else may be off, and you keep trying. You stay knowing you're 3 feet away from gold, and the action piece from The Secret, bringing clarity. Okay, this didn't work out right. I'm going to try it again. And just applying these principles, it's such a great story to help us realize, oh, okay, I can keep going. I can keep trying, and I can start to have a plan. And through my plan, I can learn and then go again. And then pretty soon, I've got a beautiful, perfected, or not perfect, an excellent chocolate cake that I can sit and enjoy. And so I love this story, and I thank you so much for the wisdom that you bring and that you're willing to continue sharing with us these principles. You're continuing to write, you're continuing to speak. And I really thank you for being here. Are there any principles that you'd like to leave us with as we wrap up, Mr. Green, and how can we contribute to the work that you're doing in the Napoleon Hill Foundation?
I'll tell you one of the important topics we don't talk a lot about. It's auto suggestion. I taught the keys to success when I was a bank president. I taught it as a night course, and I gave every cent of the money to scholarships. And I don't mean to boast, but my daughter counted them at the last scholarship lunch. We,
Wow.
we in the foundation, we have 85 scholarships at the University of Virginia. But
Wow.
one of the topics I talked about was auto suggestion. There's a book by a name don't come to me, but it's what do you say when you talk to yourself? That is the most important conversation your girlfriend could say, "Hey, that dress is not appropriate," and you could accept it. But when you tell yourself, "I'm not dressed proper," we tend to believe what we repeat to ourselves, good or bad. So it's important to keep telling yourself, set up positive messages. I got one it's in my on my desk, and it's in a for bathroom. It says, uh, if it is to be, it's up to me.
Mm,
And another one is,
yeah.
someday is not on the map.
Mm,
It's not a calendar. There's 7 days a week, and some days not one of them. When we say someday I'm gonna pay off the credit card, someday I'm gonna visit my old folks, someday I'm gonna start a book, we ain't doing nothing but lying to ourselves.
yeah.
We have to say, July 1, I began my first book. I'm going to finish it in 12 months. Then you break it down and say, well, it's got to be about 40,000 words.
Wow.
That means 3,000, 3,500 a month. And the first month you miss or you don't start, you'll never get there. And you have to keep saying, but the thing of it is, our subconscious, it'll accept negative things. I'll
Yeah.
never get a job. Well, there's no use to go apply. You already feed yourself. You got to tell yourself they can't wait to hire me, you know. And I can convince them that I can make a difference. And you keep telling yourself that positive self-talk, or we call it auto suggestion. But
Auto
like
suggestion. I had
work,
not heard that term. Thank you for that because that's one of the things that the work that I do with my clients is that inner critic, and we have specific tools that are available to us to change that programming, if you will. But I had not heard that term, auto suggestion, and I really appreciate that.
you
And
send me you send me your address and a note, and I'll send you that book. I can't. It's an Indian person. I can't remember his name, but it's a real popular book. What do you say when you talk to yourself? I've got a copy somewhere around. You send me your address and mention that book, I'll send it to you.
thank
Okay.
thank you so much. Thank you for being here. One final thing. I speak to people about their wealth identity. And really, wealth is a vehicle. It's truly about our identity, how we perceive ourselves. And these are core principles in the work that you do. What would you share with us to help us to know that we are abundant by divine birthright and how our identity affects the way we think about things? You mentioned thinking, perceiving being in poverty earlier and perpetuating that story. How would you advise us to turn around the story about who we believe we are in regard to wealth?
Well, like in that millionaire vision, if we don't see ourselves a millionaire, we're not very likely to ever be one. It won't fall out of the sky and hit us.
Wow, that's right. And so I'm excited to read the book. I don't have that one, Millionaire Vision. So thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for your work with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And I'm really excited to put information in the notes so that we can get in touch with you and contribute to this incredible work that you're doing in the world.
Well, we appreciate you. I said, I don't know how long I'm supposed to do this, but I'm already 85. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's why I deeply want to thank you for continuing this journey of helping us to live better lives and to create a better world. Um, and
You're
thank you.
any time I can help you, let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you.